I This is my desk right here. My laptop's right here. Um, I think you can see all the paintings behind me. My kitchen's right there.
Okay. And what city are you in right now?
Denver.
Denver? And just in case there's any emergencies, what's your address there?
1955 Arapahoe Street, apartment 1407. Why would there be any emergencies?
For a second, you said it was
55 Arapahoe Street.
1955 Arapahoe Street?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said apartment 1407?
Yes, that is correct.
Only if there's like an emergency, like if for some reason you had a medical emergency and I needed to call 911.
They're usually here every day. This bill, go ahead.
Why? Sorry, I missed what you said.
I was saying they're usually here every day. There's a lot of old people here, and you have the ambulance and the fire truck here every day.
In your apartment building, there's a lot of older people?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Why do you think we're meeting today?
A lawyer said so. And then the lawyer said the judge, and then the judge said they had to.
Yes. You have been referred for what's called a competency to stand trial evaluation.
I'm aware of that. I'm aware that,
Sorry.
here. You know, I'm gonna do what I can to give that phone one a try. 1 second.
Press 1 to connect your phone audio to your video. In a moment, you can use your phone to listen and speak to the meeting.
Hello, can you see me?
Yes. You can't hear you. How about you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We'll just.
Okay. Great. You were saying that you're aware that you've been referred for competency evaluation?
Yes.
Yeah, so what that means is I'm just going to ask you a lot of questions today about court and see if you can help your lawyer. And I'm going to write down a lot of notes, and I'm going to write a report that goes to 3 people. It's going to go to the judge, your attorney, and to the district attorney. So it's important that you know that the information you tell me today isn't going to stay secret or confidential. Anything you tell me could end up inside the report.
Any.
I also wanted to tell you that it's not my job to judge you at all, and even though I'm a psychologist, I'm not going to refer you for therapy, and I'm not going to be doing any therapy with you. So basically, the only reason we're meeting is so I can write this report. If you need to take a break, just let me know. And I also wanted to tell you I'm a mandated reporter. So that means if you talk about killing yourself, killing someone else, child abuse or elder abuse, I have to report that. And also I wanted to tell you this is voluntary. So if I ask you a question that you don't want to answer, just let me know. Or if you don't want to participate at all, that's your choice. But I have to write the report either way.
I understand from what the judge told me, I'm under a court order that I do have to participate. But as for various questions, if I'm understanding you correctly, I can choose not to answer that specific question.
That's correct.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So what type of evaluation am I going to do with you today?
Competency to stand trial evaluation.
Okay.
Will you be asking me to remember 3 words?
I will.
The reason I ask is I've done these before due to getting mouthy with a lawyer. And I've always come out competent enough to stand trial. And usually, they used to be Rose Teacup Battleship, but I believe they switched them up now. But to the best of my knowledge, they still have the syllable count increase.
You know, I think I got lost. Did you ask me if I was going to ask you to remember a list of 3 things?
Yeah, 3 separate words to remember. And each word has a certain amount of syllables. And the next word has at least 1 more syllable than the prior word.
Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I will ask you to remember a list of words, but the syllables have nothing to do with it.
Okay.
You said you've done this before.
A couple.
Sorry, you cut out. Could you say that again?
I did a couple of the court-ordered competency evaluations. Every time I've been charged with a felony, I've had one. And then that lawyer got removed.
All right. Can you tell me the 3 people that are going to get copies of the report?
The judge, the court-assigned lawyer, and the district attorney.
And so, is the thing you tell me we talk about?
Can you say that again, please?
Yes. Is the information that you share with me today going to be kept confidential, or will I be telling other people what we talk about?
You'll be telling other people. The prior question kind of gave that one up.
You're right. Yes. Do you have any questions before we get started?
None so far.
Okay. Could you verify your name for me?
Ken Wheeler. Do you need me to spell it fully? Kenneth, Royal, Royal, Wheeler, Wheeler.
And could you tell me your date of birth, please?
1980, December 31st, Wednesday.
Sorry, it cut out. Could you repeat that?
1980, December 31st, Wednesday.
Sorry, our session seems to be bad. What month was it again?
December was the month.
Yes, got it. Okay. I'm going to really quick try reconnecting again to see if it's better, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
Everyone else has left the call. Alright. Can you hear me and see me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Alright. So now I'm just going to start asking you a lot of questions. Do you live with me?
Say that again?
Do you live with anyone?
No, I do not. Oh, I've lived by myself since the 2017, 18, 19, 20. Uh, Off and on, I've had a girlfriend live with me.
Okay. And what day were you arrested for the charges I'm seeing you for?
I believe it was in the beginning of June, end of May. It was during the protests. I was initially arrested for a curfew violation. And then later on, they dropped the curfew violation and charged me with a felony.
I'm sorry, you said you were initially arrested for a curfew violation and then it turned into what?
A felony charge.
About how long were you at the jail?
During the curfew violation, about a day, maybe a day and a half. And then when they issued a warrant to up my charges, it became, I think, another day.
How are you doing right now, like emotionally?
I'm doing all right.
Good. How are you getting along with others right now?
That's actually pretty easy. Due to the COVID and the cold, I really don't go out that much. And a lot of things are spring of the moment, you know? Like all these little protests at the Capitol, I miss them after they happen. They're like 2 hours at most. They used to be all day long. So I could wait 2 to 4 hours and show up. Now, 2 hours in, it's over. So they're getting along with people's fine, but really ain't doing much because of the COVID. I used to go to concerts at least one or two a week. Used to go see movies, and now there's none of that. So, yeah.
Hopefully it'll go back to normal soon with the vaccines, but
Yep. Hopefully.
have you gotten in any trouble since this incident?
Define trouble. I mean, in the incident happened during a protest, and then a couple weeks later is when the charges were dropped and other charges were stacked on. So, is that what you're asking? Because that's how I got the felony to get this competency evaluation, this standing for trial competency evaluation.
Have you had any legal contact since being charged with a felony?
No, I just go to my court dates.
Okay. And are you taking any medication right now?
Not anymore. I was, but I am using it's a topical gel, diclofenac sodium. I keep it here because I put it on when I do my hand exercises, which I'm supposed to do every other hour. Yeah, I'm supposed to do them 5 times a day, and they take roughly an hour. So that's basically all day long. I can get maybe 2 hours in between of not doing them. But yeah, besides that, I take lidocaine patches on my shoulder.
And what's going on with your hand?
My wrist was slit. So, I got beat down with rocks and ran over, and I got bled out, and I woke up in a hospital, really not remembering how I got there at first until, I realized how I got there. And Uh, all my arteries, tendons, and nerves were severed. It was almost an amputation, but the bone kept it on. I just went for an EMG nerve conductive test. I think it was yesterday, or it might have been the day before. I have another medical appointment later today at 2, and they're basically, how should we say, more evaluations. The one yesterday, the day before yesterday, was to see nerve regrowth, and it's actually not that good. So yeah, and that's also the injury I had with my shoulder. I also had 4 broken ribs on one side, and concussion and stuff like that.
So it sounds like you were assaulted and all those injuries came from that?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And so is it your left hand that was injured or both of them?
Left. The left wrist
Left? Okay.
was
Left wrist.
severed.
Okay. And when did this assault happen?
June 21st, 2020, Sunday, at the Denver skate park. I was picking up trash after a Black Lives Matter Juneteenth event.
Okay. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. That's so horrible.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Do you have nightmares about that incident?
I don't know if I'd say I have nightmares, but I think about it often. I've never really had nightmares in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself thinking about it when you don't want, like, unwanted memories pop up about it, or do you intentionally kind of think about it?
It's more of the, I have pain, and I think about where my pain comes from, and then I think about it. I do my hand exercises, and I live stream those. And sometimes I'll run my mouth about the injury and how I was treated.
Okay. Do you have flashbacks where it feels like you're being assaulted all over again?
No, I wouldn't say that. You know, it's more of me, like, just thinking about it and being mouthy about it, I guess. You know, when I woke up in the hospital, there was a doctor, one of them asked, "Why did I save your life?" And I think more about that sometimes, about how there was what would you call that, a row of doctors, and one actually did the surgery, and the one who was talking smack to me did not. At least that's what they told me. And so, you know, in my mind, I'm like, wow, why was this doctor talking that way to me, you know? There I was in a hospital, obviously injured. I regained consciousness, and he's asking me, hey, why'd I save your life? More interested in an $8,000 hospital bill, stuff like that. And I'm over here like, I woke up, you know, after I got slit open, stoned down, bled out, and ran over a couple of times. And then I got mouthy with the doctor. I told him, why doesn't he go ask the woman who slit my wrist? You know, I was like, go ask her, doc. And they were, yeah, it just kind of went south from there. And so I think more about that, about how, you know, after the whole thing, because during the whole thing, it was like a brutal battle.
Okay. Mr. Wheeler, I'm sorry to ask you to do this, but I get a lot of sound lags for some reason. I know we've done this a million times, but do you mind if you try disconnecting and connecting again?
Yeah, I will reconnect everything. Microphone check. Microphone check. Hello, can you see me without lag?
A little bit of lag, but not bad. Better, thank you.
I'm still getting a lot of lag from you.
Let me try disconnecting and coming back again. Is that any better?
There's still lag. I was wondering, and what's worse than that is that there's audio breaking up. So that's the issue I'm having more, because I can do it without any screen on, but I got to hear your questions.
Yeah, I'm also getting the breaking up, which is making it hard for us to communicate, I think. I'm not sure what else I could try.
Are you using your phone for the audio like I just was?
No, I'm using the computer.
Maybe that's something we can do. We can both restart and join in using the phone option and see if that works. So that way both of our audios are going through both of our phones and not our computers.
Let me see if I know how to. Press 1 to connect your phone audio to your video. In a moment, you can use your phone to listen and speak to the meeting.
Hello. Alrighty.
Is that any better?
Well, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. That's what counts, right?
Yes. All right. Sorry about all of this. I know it's less than ideal. Okay. All right. Are you seeing any mental health providers currently?
No, I am not.
Have you noticed any changes in your weight recently?
Nah. I mean, it's Christmas. You put on a couple of pounds. Or, it's the winter. You put on pounds. So,
Yep. Okay. What time do you usually go to sleep at night?
I try to go to... Excuse me. I try to get to sleep 10 at the latest midnight.
What time do you usually wake up?
If I'm able to wake up 6 to 8, somewhere in there. I try to wake up early. When I was in school, I woke up earlier, and I was also charging scooters, so I kind of had a set work-school routine that was my regimented up, and then I graduated school in December of 2019. In cybersecurity, in the field I'm in, they usually don't start hiring until mid-February or March. And I was like, okay, I'll just charge scooters then. And then that's when all the COVID started shutting everything down. Besides that, I try to keep a normal routine for getting up early, going to bed in the evening. Yeah.
Okay. How's your energy level been recently?
I think it's doing all right. I get up and I go run, and yeah, but it's just that the cold hurts my hand, so I gotta have hand warmers in my glove, so I can go run. Because if I don't, it's just too much cold, and it just hurts too much.
Okay. So I know that you run. What else? And I know it's limited because of COVID in the winter. But what else do you do to occupy your time?
During the COVID in the winter, I've been studying some computer stuff. Also, I'm trying to do what I can to produce income. I was on unemployment, and that just recently stopped this past month, last year, I guess. And so I'm trying to do bug bounty work and do what I can to get in certain invitations to do penetration testing work from recently graduating cybersecurity school. Just last night. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was, long story short, there's a website I'm signed up on. It's called HackerOne. It does bug bounties. I was reviewing some of the bug bounties, and starting today for a month till February 5th, there's a 20% increase on the monetary payout of bounties for PayPal. So yeah, I was planning. That's my weekend plan basically, is to do that, and that's also a job, and it's a job I can do, that I'm trained for, that I can do one-handed. So yeah, because my left hand is it's a no-go.
Okay. Are you having any thoughts about killing yourself right now?
Nope. I have no thoughts about harming myself. I have no thoughts about harming others.
Okay. We're going to switch topics now, and I'm going to ask you some questions about your life. These are questions we get asked all the time, so it should be pretty easy and go pretty quickly.
All right.
Do you have a legal guardian, or can you sign things by yourself?
I do not have a legal guardian, and I can sign things by myself.
Okay. And are you right or left-handed?
I'm normally left-handed, but my left hand, it's a no-go right now. So I'm basically doing everything with my right hand. I can kind of write, print, and cursive with my right hand. I've been semi-ambidextrous my entire life and did what I could to teach myself to write with my right hand and use my right hand. So, yeah, I'm a lefty, but I'm pulling through, I guess.
Okay. And how old are you?
Just turned 40. 40 years, 8 days.
Okay. And do you have any spiritual or religious preference?
What do you mean preference? I consider myself an Orthodox Christian.
Okay. And where were you born?
Glendora, California.
I didn't catch the city. Could you say it
Glendora, California. I believe it's in East LA County. Yeah, I have a copy of my birth certificate in my closet.
And do you know if when your mother was pregnant with you or during your birth, if there were any problems?
Not to my knowledge.
And did you have any difficulties with walking, talking, or toilet training?
Nope.
And when you were born, were your mother and father married?
No.
Were they in a relationship when you were born?
To the best of my knowledge.
And did they get married or did they stay together?
They did not get married. They did not stay together.
And how old were you when that relationship dissolved?
I was living in California. It was the early 80s, so 2 or 3.
And who got custody of you?
My mother.
Did you maintain contact with your father?
No.
Did you get a stepfather?
Eventually.
How old were you when you got your stepfather?
I think 13.
And is he still part of the picture?
No.
How old were you when that relationship dissolved?
I think I was 15 when they got a divorce.
And do you have any siblings?
There's a brother and a sister.
And were you ever put in foster care?
Nope.
And how did your family get along compared to other families?
I would have no idea. Everyone's family is different.
How would you describe your childhood growing up?
Poor. Sometimes it was nice, but how should I say? Poor people don't have the nicest things.
So financial difficulties when you were growing up?
Ish. I mean, there was always, I guess, a roof there and food, but in the social circles that in the school I went to, I was usually considered one of the poorer kids.
Have you ever been physically abused?
Say that again?
Have you ever been physically abused?
I guess. I mean, back in the 80s, you used to be able to smack your kid and it wasn't such a crime. And you can get whooped with a belt, which I got whooped numerous times. But nowadays, they call that child abuse.
Were you being punished for something that you had done, or were they just doing it to do it?
Oh no, it was punishment. Doing stuff we weren't supposed to do. It was usually like my older brother and I. I have older brother, older cousins. Younger cousins, stuff like that.
Are you trying to say you would get in trouble with them all?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. Have you ever been sexually abused?
Nope.
And have you ever been married?
No, I've not been married.
And do
No, I do not.
And have you ever been enrolled in special education classes?
Does advanced placement count?
With any grade?
Will you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Did you ever repeat or skip any grade?
No, I did not repeat or skip any grades.
And did you graduate high school?
No, I got a GED. I went to all 4 years.
Were you just a few credits shy of graduating, or?
Yes, that is correct. And then I went to college based on a GED and whatever test score you got to take.
Okay. And then you said that you just graduated through cybersecurity, right?
Yes, from a different school. Most recently, a separate school. Excuse me.
Do you have any other degree?
No, just the one. It's a certificate for cybersecurity. Have it hanging on my wall.
Yeah. And before, when you were younger, what did you go to school for?
The first time was for physics, and then I went back for fine art.
Are there paintings behind you? Are you the artist?
Yes, I am. All of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on this wall. The face that you can't see because the camera's facing this way. And 1, 2, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. That's basically 13 small paintings put together, plus the 4 right there. I have one larger one that's 4 feet by 3 feet right there. And that's 6 other ones right there. And I have 2 in my room hanging up. Yeah. So,
Very cool.
I all the paintings hanging in my house are mine.
Okay. And what's the last job that you had?
Charging scooters.
How long did you do that for?
Roughly 2 years. Almost a year and a half. Solid year and a half, almost 2 years, year 9 months. You know, right at the 2 month or 2 year mark almost.
And was that full time or part time?
I guess it was full time for me. It was my main job. I worked for 2 separate scooter companies as an independent contractor charging scooters. Still waiting on my
And
debt.
what's the
Go ahead.
sorry, I missed what you said.
Oh, I was about to state that I'm waiting on my W-2s and W-9s so I can file my taxes.
Okay. And what's the longest job you had?
Does being an artist count? Because I've done that my whole life. I've done that off and on. But besides that, when I was younger, I worked at a couple of spots. I worked at a restaurant for about 3 or 4 years, and then I worked at a laundry plant for about 3 or 4 years.
Did you say a laundry bag?
Laundry plant.
Right. Okay. Alright. And I know that you told me that you were getting unemployment, which recently ended. Do you get any other state benefits or assistance?
Food stamps.
And did you serve in the military?
I choose not to answer that question.
And that's okay. I don't want you to feel like you have to answer the question. But can I ask why you
Say that again, please.
Yeah, that's okay if you don't want to answer that question, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to make you answer the question. I was just curious why you don't want to answer the question.
I just choose not to answer that question.
And is this the first time that you've been arrested before?
Nope.
Have you had any prison time?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that within the Colorado Department of Corrections?
Yes, that is correct.
Anywhere else?
Federal prison time.
Okay. And you told me that you've had 2 competency evaluations before. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And you said the results of both of those were that you were competent?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Well, no. One time, I got in an argument with the competency evaluator. He found me incompetent. Then I had to go to CMHIP for 30 days, basically go through another evaluation, and they said, okay, you're competent, and then I could go get sentenced.
Got it. And those were the 2 that, the first one where you said you were not competent, and the second one where they said that you were competent. Is that right?
Yeah, and that was for the state. For the feds, there was one, and that competency evaluation came out competent.
Alright. Now I know that you had this concussion, broken ribs, injuries to your left wrist. Do you have any other medical things going on?
Define medical things. I mean, these are, in my mind, these are kind of still ongoing, no matter how I look at it. I mean, I just recently finished up, what would you call that? 6 months of physical therapy or occupational therapy. I might have to go back because of the tests that were just done. I have to have another doctor's appointment to discuss what's next. I may have to have surgery again, which I do not want to deal with. But, so what do you mean ongoing medical stuff? I go out and I jog the best I can. I do my hand exercises. I notice that if I don't do my hand exercises, my hand hurts more throughout the day. Doing them causes, I guess, the blood flow and the stimulation where it doesn't hurt as much. Yeah.
Do you have any other medical ailments like diabetes, asthma, anything like that?
No, had asthma when I was younger, but outgrew it. I ran it. Sometimes I wheeze when I run, but I can still run.
Have you ever had a seizure before?
Nope.
And do you have any other head injuries? Or just that one from June?
Well, there were basically 2 in June. There's the one where I got arrested and I got hit in the head with a flashbang grenade. And that's what I'm currently being charged with. I guess the officer who shot me with a flashbang grenade was sidestepping and tripped over his feet and twisted his ankle, broke his ankle. So that's why I have the felony charge of 2nd-degree assault on an officer.
Now, did you lose consciousness during either of these head injuries?
I believe so. What would you call that? The police came up and gave me ketamine, which is illegal. So I lost consciousness there. And I guess I lost consciousness when I got ran over because I don't remember everything.
Now, did you get medical attention after the police incident one?
I woke up in the hospital both occasions.
In which hospital was that?
Denver Health.
For both of them?
Yep.
Okay. Have you noticed any cognitive changes since you've had injuries?
Well, I know it took me a couple of months to get my wits back after I got ran over. Yeah, so there were some cognitive changes, yes. And it took about 3 months before I kind of got back to normal cognitively. I still feel that sometimes I'm a little slower cognitively. I used to speak faster, used to think faster. Now I don't do it as much.
Okay. Switching over to drugs and alcohol, what's your drug of choice?
I currently smoke marijuana off and on.
And how old were you when you started using marijuana?
Roughly 14.
And how old were you when you started using it regularly?
14.
And during your heaviest period of use, how much were you using on average?
I guess nowadays, you know, whenever I want, I guess it's like an eighth every couple of days.
Alright. And alcohol, how old were you when you started drinking alcohol?
14 also.
Did you ever drink regularly?
Off and on throughout my life. I used to work service industry and basically drank alcohol every day at work, and so there's that.
Okay. And during your heaviest period of use, how much do you think you were drinking around that?
4 or 5 shots a day, 4 or 5 days a week.
Have you had withdrawal symptoms when you stopped drinking before?
I wouldn't say I'd really had withdrawal symptoms, but I've had hangovers.
Have you used synthetic marijuana before?
Say that again, please.
Have you used synthetic marijuana before?
Synthetic marijuana? Yeah, I've tried it. I despise it. I think it's disgusting, and I can't believe people do it. It's not marijuana.
Okay.
I don't understand how they say it's synthetic marijuana. I mean, like, that's like saying, hey, dirt is, or styrofoam is synthetic dirt. Yeah, I'll just shut up.
Okay. Have you used cocaine before?
Yes, I have.
Did you just experiment with it, or how much did you use it?
It was an experiment. Those drugs are not for me. The cocaine, the methamphetamine, the opium, the heroin, the pills, none of that's for me. Yeah. Those types of people are not for me either.
Okay. So, can you list what drugs you've experimented with?
All of those drugs.
Sorry, could you repeat it?
I've experimented with all of those drugs.
Like, you said
Oh,
cocaine, heroin.
I've done cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, opium, and I've tried pills, but the thing is, they they were prescribed. I guess they really weren't, how should I say, abused. And a lot of pills I just don't like.
Okay. The pills that you were prescribed, were you taking more than prescribed?
How should I describe? Like, let's say you're prescribed like a pain med pill, and it lasts for a month, but 2 weeks in, it doesn't work anymore, and then I can barely hold it with that hand, and then afterwards, like let's say a couple months later, you stub your toe or something, whatever, and you're like, oh fuck, my toe hurts. And you go look in the medicine cabinet. You're like, oh, okay. There's some old pain pills. Read them. Okay, I can take 2 of them right now and take 2 of them, even though it says as needed, and it was prescribed when like a certain injury or whatever happened. A couple months later, there's still some there.
Got it. Any other drug use that you've done?
I think I just named them. Did I miss any?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
How about ecstasy?
Oh yeah, I've tried ecstasy, LSD, and mushrooms. How should I say? Ecstasy is more of a pill drug, and I don't like pill drugs. I'm not a snorting drug person. I don't like that at all. What do you call the other? LSD and mushrooms. I've done mushrooms. They're legal here in Denver. I voted for them, LSD I've done also, but never where it's gotten to be like, I don't know, like an addict issue, like people drinking alcohol.
What about PCP?
No.
Do you ever huff things like gas and glue to get high?
Say that again?
Did you ever huff things like gas or glue to get high?
Huff? No. I was never a huffer. Never huffed paint, glue, any of that.
Did you ever go to substance abuse treatment?
Yes, court ordered. I did it while incarcerated, and I did substance abuse treatment. I believe it was called an ARP class, Addiction Recovery Program.
And you said that was while you were incarcerated?
One of them was. One was outside. I've had to do. Basically, I get mouthy with my PO and the government, and then they just stack on class after class after class. So I basically had to do every class they could stack on me, from 3 levels of drug and alcohol class, anger management, recreational therapy, one-on-one therapy, everything they can throw at me. Yeah.
We're going to switch topics now and talk about your case. What's the difference between being charged and being convicted?
Charged, you're not convicted. Convicted, you're done with the charge. You're waiting to be sentenced.
And what are your charges that I'm seeing you about?
I believe it is a second-degree assault on a peace officer.
And is your attorney, or you said he's court appointed, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
And what's his name?
not sure. Let me check real quick.
I think it's Nicholas Weber. Yeah, I believe that's who it is. Yeah.
What is the job of a defense attorney?
The job of a defense attorney is to defend the defendant.
And how many times have you met with Mr. Weber?
None.
Have you talked on the phone or anything?
Yes.
Okay. How many times have you talked on the phone?
Basically once. And that was the time he called me up and said that he's going to ask the judge for a competency evaluation. I was under the understanding that the charge was going to be dropped due to lack of evidence in the discovery for the preliminary hearing.
Do you feel like the can help you?
Say that again?
Do you have confidence in your attorney's ability to help you?
No, I do not have confidence in my attorney's ability to help me. I feel, well, I was told by other people in law enforcement that the charge was just going to get dropped. And, you know, I feel that he's kind of just dragging it out to do it.
I'm sorry, I missed the last part. You said that you were told by law enforcement that the charges would be dropped, and then
I feel that it would just be that he's dragging it out. I've heard that from like cops on the street and stuff, activism, asking if my charges got dropped, and I was like, well, my curfew charges got dropped. And they're like, what about your other ones? Those are supposed to be dropped also, right? And I was like, well, they haven't done it yet. I'm waiting for the preliminary hearing. There's no evidence in the discovery, so that should get dropped there. But here I am doing this.
okay. Can your attorney tell other people what you tell him?
Legally, to the best of my knowledge, he is not allowed to discuss what I tell him unless I make statements that I will harm myself or I will harm others, or there are children in jeopardy or people at risk in jeopardy, or if anyone's in jeopardy, right? I think if I report that I know of any harm, he by law has to report it.
Good. What do you think you can do to help him?
Good question. What can I do to help him? Well, he told me that there isn't any evidence in the discovery, and at one point he told me I shouldn't even be looking in it because there's nothing in it. And then at one point he told me I should, because he stated that he is a lawyer and he has to. So right now, I guess doing this competency evaluation.
What would you do if you disagreed with him?
Say that again? If I disagreed with him,
Yeah.
I would inform him. And if all else fails, I would inform the judge.
And if you tell the court, or if somebody tells the court you have a charge, what does that mean?
Repeat that question again. If the court does what?
Sorry, if a defendant tells the court that they're guilty of a charge, what are they trying to say?
If the defendant tells the court they're guilty of a charge, the defendant is confessing, admitting guilt to the charge they're being charged with. They're basically pleading guilty.
And what will happen next if someone pleads guilty?
They're usually sentenced. When a person pleads guilty, they are sentenced.
Right. And what are some potential sentences?
For my charge, it could either, I don't know if this charge includes probation, but it includes a couple of years in prison.
What is probation anyway?
It's basically a supervised release. You have to make sure you don't get in trouble with the law, and you have to show up every so often and report to them and talk with them and make sure that you're being a good person or a good citizen, law-abiding citizen.
What happens if you violate?
You have to go in front of the judge if you violate your supervised release, your probation. They discuss what the violations are, and I know in the feds they have predefined sentencing for your pre-sentence violations. In the state, I don't know if it's the same way. So if you get a hot UA, you may have to go do classes. But usually for the feds, if you get a hot UA, you have to go back to prison for so many months.
What, if you plead guilty, you just have a trial?
If someone pleads guilty, do they have a trial? No, they do not. Not usually.
Right. And what rights do you give up if you say that you're guilty?
A person who pleads guilty usually gives up the right to an appeal.
If someone says they're not guilty, what does that mean?
It means they are contesting their charge. A person who says they're not guilty believes they are innocent of what they're being charged with.
And what happens next to people that say they're not guilty?
Either they will get a trial or the charge will be dismissed.
What's the risk involved with taking a case to trial?
You can get a heavier sentence if you take your case to trial. Usually they offer you a plea bargain, so it's a lighter sentence.
If I didn't know what a plea bargain was, what would you tell me if you were trying to describe that?
It's basically a deal that the prosecution makes with the defendant, saying they're offering you a lesser amount of time than what they would try for if they won in trial. If a person loses in trial, they could get a sentencing range. If they win, they're scot-free. In a plea bargain, that is a deal to say usually the lower end of a sentencing range.
Do you have to take the deal offered?
No, you do not have to take the deal offered.
If you do want to take the deal, what plea do you have to enter?
If a defendant wants to take the deal, they have to plead guilty. That's usually the deal. They're pleading guilty so that way they know what sentence they're going to get, and that's what they're pleading guilty to, is more of the sentence than the charge. That's their knowledge of what their sentence is going to be is usually what they're pleading guilty to.
Okay. And are you willing to consider a plea bargain in your case?
No.
And why is that?
I believe that I'm innocent. I believe I'm not responsible for somebody tripping over their feet, if what I've been informed is correct.
Now, this question is just hypothetical, so it's not based in fact at all. But if for some reason your attorney would say that he thought that you could still be charged with the charges that you have, what would you say then?
Then I'd have to go to trial. I still got to see a discovery. I mean, that's kind of one of the whole issues right here. I mean, I asked the judge how I can be charged or have a competency issue if there's no evidence in the discovery to discuss and work with my lawyer. When my lawyer tells me that even to the judge, he's still waiting on discovery. And so, yeah, there's that.
Okay, so just to make sure I understand you correctly, in my hypothetical question, you said that you would want to see the discovery.
Well, yeah, and I'd still probably go to trial. I mean, I'm not, if I'm understanding what I'm being charged with correctly, I'm being charged with a cop twisting his ankle. And they're saying that he twisted his ankle while I was being arrested. But they're saying that he wasn't the arresting officer. He was just near the arrest. I don't understand how I can be the one being charged.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if what they're saying is correct, this wasn't some dude I was struggling with. This was some dude a couple feet behind him. And whatever happened, somehow they're saying he twisted his ankle, and now it's my fault.
I see. And then hypothetically, is the situation where it was one of the officers that was arresting you, and they were injured because you were resisting arrest? That's different. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I guess it's kind of a weird question.
Okay. Okay, we only rephrase it. So, and if this is totally hypothetical, if the situation was where an officer was injured because in a direct result of you resisting arrest, would you then consider a plea bargain in that case?
I have no idea, honestly. Can I just choose not to answer it?
Well, this part, I'm not actually interested in what your answer is. I'm more interested in the way you think. So that's why I'm giving you hypothetical questions. But what I hear you saying is, if that was the situation, you'd have to think about it. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I think everyone would be. I mean, here's the thing. Not hypothetically speaking, I'm being charged with a crime, and right now there's only papers that say, written down, that say someone twisted their ankle, and I'm the one being blamed. Usually you need more evidence, more discovery, to the best of my understanding, before you can even make a decision or go beyond that charge. That's what the preliminary hearing purpose is there for.
Now, what does the plea of no contest mean?
No contest, a plea of no contest, I believe that's saying you understand that in accordance with the way the law is written, you broke the law, but you're not admitting guilt. You're basically saying you're not guilty, but you can understand that if the government wanted to, they could push the point and find you guilty.
And what happens to people that get that?
It depends. They can get a lighter sentence. I'm not exactly sure. me. Not guilty by reason of insanity is some certain people get because they're just insane. They're just mentally not there. They have no cognitive cohesiveness to reality, and they committed a crime. And it's basically saying that in our society, due to the fact that they're not mentally there, they're not guilty. So, not guilty by reason of insanity normally would get someone a lesser sentence or an indefinite sentence in a mental hospital.
You're right about the indefinite term at the hospital. And what is the purpose of the trial?
The purpose of a trial, that's the government saying somebody's guilty and somebody saying that they're not, and our society saying that's how we decide. The discrepancy is that the government's going to get all this evidence together and do what they can to prove guilt of the accused. And if it's a jury trial, it will be up to 12 people who have to vote unanimously. If it's a bench trial, it's up to the judge who will have to decide legally.
What happens if all the jurors don't agree?
You're either not guilty or it's a mistrial. Well, I guess if they all agree you're not guilty, they're agreeing. So if they don't all agree, it is a mistrial.
And what happens then?
You get a new trial if the government decides to re-prosecute you. And depending on certain motions, they may not be allowed to bring up certain evidence or certain facts into the next trial.
Whose side is the judge on?
The judge is supposed to be a neutral third party.
Good. You mentioned how you could have a bench trial or a jury trial. If you were going to go to trial, which one would you pick and why?
I would have to know the evidence and which type of judge. Because, to the best of my knowledge, in a bench trial, the judge is only allowed to go off of certain facts. And so, with the jury, you can try to persuade them with evidence and erroneous statements and erroneous facts and allegations and opening statements. With a judge, with a bench trial, there's none of that. The judge can only go off of certain facts that they legally know and understand with the law because of their training.
And what is the role of or actually, do you think it would be a good idea to talk to the district attorney without your lawyer present?
They say never do that. So that'd be a no. Even the judge says not to do that.
And what is the role of a witness?
To state what they got to state. They're supposed to tell the truth.
And who could they call as potential witnesses against you in this case?
Whoever they got. I don't know. I haven't seen the discovery.
Okay. The one that comes up to my mind is like the police officer.
Yeah.
What would you do? Sorry, go ahead.
Their list of witnesses is what they got so far. I don't know what their list of witnesses is.
Okay. And what would you do if a witness lied on the stand?
Object. I would tell the judge or the jury, hey, this guy's lying. I'm objecting based upon, what would that be? Perjury, right?
Yeah, what you actually want to do is quietly tell your attorney that the person's lying right when it's happening, and then when it's your attorney's turn to cross-examine the witness, he can ask questions to kind of show
testifying in your case is totally up to you. It's your decision. It's a defendant's decision always. At least that's what I've been told. And usually that decision is influenced by the lawyer on whether or not the defendant can properly answer cross-examined questions to facilitate their innocence.
What about for you though? Like, and again, I'm not actually interested in your answer. I'm interested in how you think. Would you want to testify in your case, and why or why not?
A normal person would. You want to testify to tell the jury that you're innocent, because the jury looks at that and thinks about that. So you get up and you say, hey, I'm innocent, I'm not guilty of this charge, and go from there. You know, you tell your side of the story. That's why you get up and testify.
And what's the risk involved with testifying?
The prosecution can manipulate your words and make the jury think you're guilty.
But, and how are you supposed to act in the courtroom?
Say that, how am I supposed to ask in the courtroom? I guess I can either raise my hand or I can speak quietly to the court-assigned lawyer, and then he can get up and ask.
What happens if you act out in the courtroom?
If you act out in the courtroom, you can be held in contempt of court, or you can be removed. They can either just remove you, or they can hold you in contempt of court and then remove you.
So what would you do if you were upset in the courtroom?
Most people are upset in the courtroom.
Yeah?
Maintain civility.
Good. What if you felt like you couldn't compose yourself anymore?
I don't know. I guess you'd have to leave, right? Or go ask for a bathroom break.
Yeah, good. First you have to ask for permission, but exactly that. I would take a break. I know that you haven't seen the discovery yet, but from what you know about the case, what evidence do you think the prosecutor is going to bring up against you?
Really don't know. If there are witnesses that state somebody twisted their ankle and it's my fault.
Yep, exactly. They might also bring up his medical records. And what do you plan on, and again, I'm not interested in your answer, I'm interested in how you think. What do you plan on doing in your case?
Getting a discovery, going from there, or, you know, if what I was told is true, at the next court date, there'll be a reevaluation. It might get dismissed there, or it might go to preliminary hearing and get dismissed there.
And hypothetically, if it's not dismissed, what plea do you think you might do?
Go to trial. There's some mitigation I can throw in because they did use ketamine, which is technically illegal. So I can basically, you know, file that, go from there. I believe it's called mitigation paperwork.
How do you think this whole thing will probably end?
Dismissed?
And do you feel like your case will be handled fairly in court?
I usually feel that most cases are not, so no.
Can you say more about that?
I believe that how should I say? If they got you, they got you. But if they don't, most trials are not in your favor. And they talk about, like, one of the terms is in the light most favorable to the defense. In the light most favorable to the people. And then they'll say, well, the light most favorable to the people outweighs the light most favorable to the defense. So if there's a discrepancy, the judge has to side with the people, which is the prosecution. You know? So that right there is kind of a setup going in, knowing that if your rights are on the line and it's basically a 50-50, well, the judge has got to go with the prosecution.
Okay. There were a couple things you did know about court, which is very normal. I just want to see if you remember what I taught you. So if someone pleads no contest, what happens then?
It's kind of like a guilty plea that you can't be civilly gotten with, and it's up to the judge. You know, you're basically pleading guilty with, if I remember what you said correctly, no civil liability.
Good, good. I know that you haven't seen the discovery, but who are possible witnesses they could call against you?
The police who made reports, the police officer who got injured. Yeah.
And what are you supposed to do if a witness lies on the stand?
I'm supposed to quietly tell my lawyer, and then my lawyer is supposed to cross-examine him and prove that he's been lying on the stand.
Good. Alright. We're gonna switch topics now and talk about your mental health history. I know that you said that after you were called incompetent, you had to come to Pueblo, briefly until you were back competent again. Are there any other times that you had to go to a psychiatric hospital?
Besides Pueblo? No. With the feds, I went to a federal facility, Metropolitan Detention Center, Los Angeles. They did evaluations there. So it wasn't a specific psych hospital like CMHIP Pueblo, which I believe is their forensic psychology department. With my state charge, that's the one where I went to Pueblo.
And you've never been to a psych hospital otherwise, correct?
No. Just the Pueblo while, dealing with the government. And those were competency evaluations. The first competency evaluation happened in the Mesa County Jail. That's where I got in the argument with the evaluator. And I was found incompetent. Then I was ordered to go to Pueblo, and I was there for roughly 30 days, I think, a month. And during then, I regained competency by answering the questions correctly. When I was in, what do you call that? Prison, state of Colorado, Department of Corrections, I got another argument with a competency evaluator. I think her name was Glennette Smith, Buena Vista Correctional Facility. And I got sent to Pueblo, and I was there for a week. I got there on a Wednesday. The next Wednesday later, I was back. They shipped me there and shipped me off. So...
Alright. Got an argument with an evaluator?
Yeah, out of prison. So then I had to go to the actual Pueblo CMHIP forensic psychology and do another evaluation, which was basically like this, a couple hours. And on the next bus out of there, which was 1 week later, I was back.
Got it. And have you ever gone for outpatient counseling or therapy?
Court mandated counseling, if that counts.
Like the anger management and the classes that you were talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental illness?
I have, but those were removed when I got to CMHIP and got a thorough evaluation. When I was given a thorough evaluation in the actual mental hospital, just about all the diagnoses were removed, besides a couple such as paranoia, depression, anxiety, PTSD.
Paranoid, depression,
Anxiety, PTSD.
PTSD. Okay. What were the old diagnoses?
Delusional schizophrenic with grandiose, and basically a whole slew of those. And when I got to Pueblo, they made comments about how I must have really pissed off the evaluator for that to be put out there, because those types of diagnosis don't just show up from one evaluation, And I was like, well, it was one dude, one evaluation, one appointment, and they're like, yeah, we know, that's not possible. And I'm like, well, here I am. So when I was in the mental hospital, they took those off, and they're like, well, we think that this paranoia is there, the depression's there, the anxiety's there, the PTSD is there. And I'm like, well, you're the ones making those calls, The last guy before you met me for 2 hours, and then gave me a list of diagnoses that, take months to years to diagnose properly. So there's that.
Have they ever prescribed you psychotropic medication?
Once. I was prescribed, I believe it was Respiridol. And it was from the doctor who gave me those psychosis diagnoses in the mental hospital. They're like, no, you don't take pills.
What doctor?
I don't remember.
And have you had periods of depression before that went on for some time, or things? Like everybody has ups and downs, but did you ever have a period of depression that was significant?
What do you mean by significant? I mean, numerous times, I've been depressed, but I do what I can not to let it get me down, and stay in good health, good hopes, good health, and all that, good mental health. Before the COVID, used to go outside all the time. Used to go to concerts and movies, and being in a quarantine is kind of depressing, to tell you. So this is basically like the longest bout of depression, and just dealing with it is being stuck here.
Yeah. Aside from the quarantine, what's the longest period of depression that you've had?
I don't know, maybe a month or two. Really don't get that depressed that long. Just adapt and overcome and get over it, Don't have much of a choice.
In the past, when you had these periods of depression, did you notice any other changes in yourself?
More secluded, more isolated, I guess. I'm not talkative. That's usually one of the things when I'm depressed. I don't talk to people. That, I guess, and then I become more talkative as the depression goes away.
Do you notice changes in your sleep when you're depressed?
Uh, I don't know. Maybe it's more my sleep cycle, I guess, versus my sleep.
Could you say more?
What do you mean?
But, could you describe what you mean?
I guess if I'm depressed, I'll sleep whenever I want, and be awake whenever I want versus trying to have a set schedule. The past couple of years, my job schedule has been basically whatever I wanted, charging scooters. And then my only set schedule was school, which was an actual 8 to 5 class. And, it was full time. And, yeah.
Do you have less energy when you're depressed?
I don't know. When I'm depressed, I still try to do the same things. Go out and run. Recently, with my injury, I have not been able to do any push-ups or any sit-ups because of my broken ribs. So I still go out and run. I do my hand exercises, my shoulder exercises. Go from there.
Do you notice changes in your appetite when you're depressed?
It's more of, I'd have to say yes, but it's more of I'm a picky eater. Like, if I'm not depressed and I'm hungry, I'll eat anything, I'm like, hey, it's food, it's go time. But sometimes I'm a picky eater anyways, but then, yeah, so I guess it's more of if I'm depressed, I'm more on a specific diet that's constant, Like I'll just eat the same thing over and over. I won't switch it up. I won't go get a cheeseburger or ice cream or a burrito or something.
Have you ever tried to kill yourself?
I have in the past. I've attempted suicide.
Okay. And how many attempts have you had?
I choose not to answer that question.
Okay.
One of the reasons I'm standoffish about answering that question is when I woke up in the hospital, they said that this injury was self-inflicted. And I was like, no, I was attacked. And I guess that they had a witness saying that it was self-inflicted. And then I was like, no, that's not possible. And they asked me questions if I ever attempted suicide in the past, and I said yes. And then they said, oh, well, then that proves that this is a suicide attempt. And I was like, well, then how did I get run over, And I got mouthy about that because sometimes I get mouthy a lot. And, I got mouthy with the doc. I was like, how does somebody run themselves over? How's that self-inflicted? And it just got into a mouthy argument from there. But this right here is not a suicide attempt. This was an attempt on my life, and yeah, ever since then and waking up in the hospital, I really don't like talking about any of that, to tell you the truth, because the way I was treated.
I see. Okay. Have you ever thought you were famous before?
Say that again?
Have you ever thought you were famous before?
Ish. I mean, I when I rode scooters, people told me I was Instagram famous, that there were all these videos of me on Instagram. And I didn't know they were out there, but I was riding scooters stacked on top of each other. And the people who were riding alongside me in cars, they were putting that on the internet. And then this one dude came up, and he was on a scooter, and he told me I was Instagram famous. And I went to a bar, and I was like, hey, you guys hear that I'm Instagram famous? And they told me to shut my mouth because I got tired of watching these videos of me, and I didn't even know it. So I guess there's kind of that. But overall, not right now. I mean, it's COVID, not doing nothing.
Do you ever think you were better than everybody else?
Not everybody, but like in my cybersecurity class, I thought I was better than everybody else. And That's because I did better. I mean, the whole point, some of the assignments, I was the only one to pass. You know, other people couldn't complete the assignment, and so yeah. Uh, when certain things like that, you know, if I win, I think I'm better, but if I lose, I know I'm not. So there's that.
Do you ever have it where your thoughts go so fast in your head that you can't keep up with them?
Not usually. I can usually keep up with my thoughts. I'm usually a fast speaker and a fast thinker.
Have you ever felt like you didn't need sleep, but you weren't tired?
Say that again. I did or did not need sleep.
Have you ever felt like you did not need sleep, but you weren't tired?
That I did not need sleep and I was not tired.
Correct. Like perhaps a similar feeling to when somebody's on cocaine or meth.
No. I mean, if I'm understanding the question correctly, if you don't need sleep and you're not tired, that can kind of be normal, right? I mean, that's like I just woke up a couple hours ago. I'm not tired and I don't need sleep.
So no, I mean like a period of time where you didn't sleep, but you weren't tired.
You mean longer than a day?
That's correct.
No, no.
Um, some people feel like they're on an emotional roller coaster every day. Does that sound like you?
No.
Okay. Do you have any odd beliefs that other people think are strange?
I get that a lot. I don't really believe in the government. So I usually keep that to myself unless I'm in like an activist group that also does not believe in the government. And then it's not odd and strange. It's basically the activist community I'm with. I mean, honestly, if you look at... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to comment about like the Trumpelstiltskins, all the Trump supporters. You know, what happened the other day. You know, a couple of them got shot storming the Capitol. That was hardcore. And when they were doing it, I'm pretty sure they all thought this was the right way to go. You know, this is just normal. We can do this. But other people were like, whoa, this is odd and strange. You should not be doing that. You know, and most protesters feel that way. You could be out there protesting anything out in front of the Capitol, and people who are not in support will be like, hey, that's odd and strange. How can you do that? Well, that's just life.
Do you ever hear things other people don't hear?
Nope.
Do you ever see things other people don't see?
Nope. I wear glasses.
Do you get do you get panic attacks?
No, I do not get panic attacks.
You mentioned that earlier in your life they had diagnosed you with PTSD. So I assume there was something else that was traumatic in addition to this assault that just recently happened. Is that right?
I guess so. It could come from the way I answer questions and the manner in which I'm forced to answer them. You know, and when I spoke, if I remember correctly, it has honestly been over a decade, basically a decade and a half. My dealings with the government and dealings with the legal system is the PTSD. So the way I acknowledge it and see it and experience it is what is the PTSD.
Okay. Other than this horrific assault that happened, are there other times in your life where you thought your life was in danger or somebody else's life was in danger?
Yeah, when my first felony case, I was convicted of use of a stun gun from a fight, and I was the one who called the cops because I felt my life was in danger.
Got it. Do you have nightmares about that
No,
Flashback?
no. I mean, honestly, I really don't think about it unless I'm dealing with the government because they always bring it up. And somehow I have to be there and answer questions of something that happened 15, 16 years ago, almost 17 years, who knows, right? Basically, almost a lifetime ago. Uh, and I don't remember it correctly. And then they're like, how can you not remember all this stuff? We have it written down. And I'm like, well, that's what you guys got written down. So why don't you just go off of what you got written down? And then you know, me and my mouth, I get mouthy.
What, you mentioned a couple times that you get mouthy. What's that about? Like, is it during times you feel disrespected, or what is that?
I guess the way I look at it is everyone has their own attitude, you know? Everyone has their own level of respect, and everyone believes that respect is to be earned. And me, I have an attitude with the government, and everyone in the government that I deal with knows it. So I try to be respectful, and sometimes they also. But usually, sometimes they'll get mouthy, and I'll get mouthy back. And there's usually more of them than me. So I'm not afraid to get mouthy back. That's just who I am.
Okay. Um, are you a person that worries a lot?
Not usually.
Alright. We're going to turn to topics, and I'm going to ask some different types of questions. Can you tell me what the date is today?
Today's date, it is 2021, January 8th. It is a Friday.
And I'm going to read a list of words to you. I just want you to remember them and talk back to me. There's going to be 4 words. Pencil, chair, stone, plate.
Pencil, chair, stone, plate.
Okay. Try to remember those words. I'm going to ask you again later. Can you tell me what the capital of the United States is?
The capital is Washington City in the District of Columbia.
And what is the capital of Colorado?
The capital of Colorado is the city of Denver.
Could you count backwards by 7, starting at 100?
100, 93, so 86, 79, 72, 65, 50.
You can spell. Thank you. Could you spell the word world backwards for me?
DLROW.
I'm going to say some numbers, and I just want you to repeat them back to me. 6, 9, 5.
695.
4, 3, 8, 1.
4381.
2, 9, 8, 5, 7.
29857.
I'm going to say some more numbers, and I'd like you to tell me in backward order. 8, 3, 7.
738.
9, 4, 6, 1.
1649.
7, 3, 2, 5, 8.
85237.
How are a coat and a sweater alike?
A coat and a sweater are alike as they are another layer of clothing. A coat is usually having an opening in the front chest, where a sweater you pull over your head.
What about a peach and a plum?
A peach and a plum are both fruit. They both start with the letter P, and they can both be made into various juices, jellies, and jams, and seasonings.
Okay. What does it mean when somebody says, don't cry over spilled milk?
It means no point in crying over stuff you can't change. It's something that's small and monotonous. Let it go. Let it go.
What about when they say, strike while the iron is hot?
Yeah, that's kind of a weird one, I guess. Strike while the iron is hot. Get it when you're supposed to, you know? Do your job when you're supposed to do it. That's like a blacksmith thing. When the iron's hot is when you strike it, because if you're striking it when it's cold, it's almost irrelevant.
Okay. Why should children who are sick stay home from school?
So other children don't get sick.
Could you tell me the 4 words I told you before?
Chair, pencil, stone, plate.
Could you tell me what 2 times 48 is?
2 times 48 is 96.
Alright. Mr. Wheeler, I don't think I have any other questions for you. Do you have any questions for me that I may or may not be able to answer?
I have no idea. I mean, honestly, to the best of my knowledge, I'm competent. I answered the questions truthfully and honestly to the best of my ability. I have no intentions on harming myself. I have no intentions on harming others. And I'm still currently seeking gainful employment.
Okay. Well, I certainly appreciate you taking the time to meet with me today and being so cooperative. I wish you all the best with the case and with your recovery. When COVID gets over, getting back out there and doing everything you want to do. You take care.
Thank you. You too, ma'am. And you have a beautiful day, Dr. Walker, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everyone else.